I think the biggest thing is just the ability to project and forecast where we're going and what the future looks like. I feel like prior to being part of the process and learning the tools along with it, we were really kind of flying by the seat of our pants. So we really didn't have a good idea of what was forthcoming the next quarter, the quarter after that, 6, 8, 10 months down the road. So I feel like now we're able to go into our quarterly meetings and set where we're going to be at the end of the next quarter and be pretty accurate on that in that analysis and that review of what we're trying to do. I think that's been a really helpful thing just because it's allowed us to understand where we're going to be, how we need to build our team, how we need to modify our team, pivot based on what it looks like. And that's just kind of been proved to be invaluable. So that's one of the main things here lately that I've realized and come to appreciate of the work that we put in our process. I mean, there's a couple of reasons. One, obviously, we see the results that it has with leadership teams. I mean, that's undeniable. The effectiveness it has with that specific sector. But I guess as you get further into the organization, I mean, we're here to develop talent at the end of the day, right? So we're only as good as our teammates and our team members. So we can continue to bring this tool to them and this way of thinking, the way of thinking outside the box. We're definitely helping our younger talent think more big picture than maybe what they've ever been exposed to. So that's one of the main pieces of it. It's just really getting them familiar with what they can do, what their role is. I know we all get caught in the weeds, myself included, similar to them, but you have to be able to take time and look at the big picture. And I think bringing that to all the different levels within the organization is foreign to them, but over time it becomes very routine and very consistent with what we're all trying to do, and it's all pushing in the same direction. I think it started with do I feel like we're there, but just the more focus you put on something, the more advancement and improvement, the closer you're going to get to what you see as the ultimate goal. And I think, we've started that with a lot of conversations internally amongst teams of where those disconnects are and maybe ways that we can bridge that gap between the office and the field. Because, we wear a certain set of shoes every day and have a certain set of responsibilities that we can appreciate and we understand. But at the same time, they wear a certain set of boots out there and they got a different set of responsibilities that they're trying to take care of. And it's very easy for us to lose focus on what that means day in and day out for them. And what could lead to us not really know, hey, what are they doing or what are we doing? So starting those conversations to bridge that gap about who's got what responsibility and what that looks like, the different stress levels that go into it. Once you start talking about it, there's a lot of parallels there. But not having that understanding or not being in that situation can lead you to have some doubts or question what that looks like. So I think really starting with that conversation about what we're doing now, each role, what that looks like, and then going forward, how do we continue to bridge that gap and just build that chemistry amongst teams so that they continue to work better, faster, and more efficient. So a lot of work left to be done, but putting some emphasis on it always allows you to start that process soon. They're sophisticated. They know what they want. They've got it down to a science. But as a result, they've made us a better organization across all sectors, all fronts, between accounting, between project management, between superintendent. They've really forced us to refine our process. They forced us to think about things in a different way, to operate in a different way, to respond in a different way, to meet demands and requirements that just aren't able to be flexible. And I think by doing that, that allows you to go to some of your clients that don't have such strict expectations and or have just never seen anything to that magnitude and be able to perform at a higher level that they've never seen either, because you've all of a sudden basically trained your organization and your company, your personnel to respond and act at a higher level. So it's kind of created a cause and effect as a result throughout the organization and for other clients to their benefit. It just opens up more doors. It just gives you more and more credence and or resume type stuff that when you go talk to other clients, it's something that just resonates. they're like, wow, well, if you could do that, then you can go do this project for us or do this project for whoever. So it just leaves a lot of value and credence to the organization and what their capabilities are after being able to successfully accomplish. So I guess I need it, right? I mean, we work really hard. We all have a lot of stress. We all have a lot of responsibilities. You might as well have fun while you're doing it. I mean, it's a stressful industry. It's got a lot of challenges. It's got ups and downs, a lot of emotions that go into it. So, I value the importance of being able to laugh throughout the day. I value the importance of being able to have a conversation with anybody within the office at any time, because I'm comfortable and I feel that it's necessary. And, so as a result, you want everybody else within the organization to be able to have that comfort, to have that same level of self-respect and levity, I guess, being able to just laugh over things in stressful situations to figure out the best way going forward. So I just think it's healthy. You gotta, everybody's dealing with different things at home and personally and work, and being able to know that you got a place that you can go to that is a escape and allow you to focus on what you're doing, but also be enjoyable at the same time. I think is imperative. I can't imagine any other way. Honestly. Well, I think early on, really just defining what everybody's roles were, defining what those responsibilities were, who each seat within the organization, what they need to be doing, what they were responsible for, was kind of the first step in that process. Once you're able to define what everybody is responsible for and what their, role is, then you can start analyzing and reviewing them within that role and saying, hey, is he being successful at accomplishing this set of responsibilities or is he not? And then once you're able to grade them, see how well they're doing and or have some true data on their performance, you're really able to tell, hey, does he fit well with this? Is he a high performer? Is he not a high performer? Or they just don't fit with what we're trying to accomplish, which is okay. There's a role for everybody in some organization, but really as we work through that process of those responsibilities, are they able to meet and maintain those responsibilities? It just really is open our eyes and their eyes on what they're doing and how well they're doing it, which it makes it really easy to make moves and modifications within the organization because you're really looking at everything at a microscope. You really understand it. I guess for me personally, it's really helped me just to elevate who I am. There's certain parts of this business when I first started in the weeds that I really enjoy, and I still really enjoy to this day. But at the same time, I realize what has to be done in order for the whole organization to be successful. So it's almost kind of forced me out of my comfort zone to a degree. It's kind of forced me to be somebody that I wasn't 5 years ago. And not that I knew who that was, but over time, I've kind of slowly realized that. And it's helped me just kind of personally develop and redevelop myself and improve myself on what I'm able to do and what I'm able to bring to the table for the entire organization. And I think that's the main thing with it. It's just really the personal development that's kind of came along with it. So, which in turn improves who you are and then the work atmosphere, but it also improves who you are at the whole atmosphere. I think obviously I see continued value out of it. Every quarterly meet, we talk about certain things. Calling this team brings certain things to the table of, different way of looking at things, bringing a different set of lenses. Obviously he's got some experience in different industries that are different of ours. So therefore, sometimes he looks at us like we're crazy and sometimes, he understands what we're saying, but bringing those different thought processes of how to do things, other ways of looking at things. And, sometimes, you look at an image and you see one thing, you get fixated on that image, but you don't see the other 15 things happening in the background. And I think, your team has continued to bring those things in the background, like back to the forefront and allow us to just kind of really self-reflect a little more deeper, a little more thorough and more big picture, and I just consider that invaluable. That's not something that we as a leadership team would be able to do successfully, just because we are in the weeds and we are this tunnel vision based on what we're doing day in and day out, and being able to see that big picture and look ahead and look elsewhere is just brings a lot of value. I mean, honestly, whatever we want it to be, so that's a powerful thing to say, if you asked me that 10 years ago, would I be able to give you that same answer? Maybe, maybe not, but I feel way more confident giving that answer today than I was past. So to answer your question, really where we want to take the company, and I think we as a leadership team are always debating and having some internal conversations, what that looks like for us, what that looks like for our lifestyle professionally and personally. I mean, all those things have to go into that conversation. But at the end of the day, I'm confidently saying that, where we want to take this is that increasing revenue, increasing margin, increasing personnel. I mean, we know we can accomplish all that. It's just a matter of us choosing which one of those paths we want to take. We interview quite a few different people whenever we're getting in or interested in going towards the OS traction type system. And I mean, it ultimately came down to, just Colin's fit with us personally. I mean, I think the accountability piece is probably the one that I'll hang my hat on. He doesn't hold his tongue, which I appreciate. He's not a yes sir, a no sir. He's really quick to call out things that just don't pass the smell test, and that just brings a lot of value. I mean, I don't get to, as a CEO role, there's not too many people that I can count on to challenge what I'm saying within my organization. I try to push that, but you don't see that. So having an outsider to have that kind of allow you or challenge you on those decisions and what you're doing is almost like a kind of its own board of directors. It's kind of an outsider that gives their input on what we're doing day in and day out, and they don't mind questioning or challenging maybe some of the thought processes that we come across it. So just that piece of it was the strongest thing that I've endured over our 4-year tenure that we've been doing this. Is like, he doesn't mind standing up to what I think and or what we're doing, and questioning that and throwing some shade on it and trying to figure out how it can get better. So honestly, I mean, what it's able to do for me personally to where I was before we started this and where I am now, just the professional development that it's allowed me to have, because, when we first started this, I was very operation focused. I was really in the weeds with certain things within the organization. Over time, we've slowly figured out what that looks like and how to elevate myself to be more of the CEO and really have big picture thoughts between all the different sectors within our organization. And I didn't have that. And now that we've done this work and continue to do this work, it's opened up a lot more doors for us within the organization and me personally to allow me to do things that were just never even an opportunity in the past. I think that's just part of that that's part of that process that allows you to look ahead, see what that looks like, what it takes to get there, and then gives you the blueprint to getting there.